8:44, we're awaiting the beginning of the trial of Dr. Conrad Murray. Eric Spillman is outside the courthouse right now with a couple of folks. Eric.
Good morning. There's some interesting people here in front of the courthouse this morning. One of them is Dr. Barry Friedberg, who's an actual anesthesiologist, and he's brought an IV here with this white liquid, which is actually propofol, the same drug that we're talking about in the Conrad Murray trial. And you've come here essentially to make a point about anesthesia that people you think ought to be paying attention to. And what is that?
Public safety with the use of propofol demands my presence so I can explain it in very simple terms that everybody can understand.
This is a common drug.
Very common drug.
Used in surgeries.
Used in surgery. Hundreds of millions of patients have had this drug safely because somebody has eyes on the patient and somebody's listening to the monitor.
What is your message to the average person about this type of anesthesia and going under anesthesia in general?
Anesthesia without a brain monitor demands over-medication, and over-medication is fundamentally dangerous, especially if you're over 50. So you never go to sleep for surgery without a brain monitor.
So really, you're saying that you have to ask for a brain monitor? It's not normally provided?
You don't ask. It's a non-negotiable demand. You either get it or you tell them you go down the street to the hospital that will do it. Same model for change. You got fathers in the delivery room.
All right. Let's talk about your book here briefly. What is it called?
Getting Over, Going Under was written for the general public in simple language. It's sponsored by the nonprofit Goldilocks Anesthesia Foundation. Takes no money from the brain monitor makers or the drug makers. It's about public education so people can deal with their normal fears, because there's a lot of fears about anesthesia, including my own when I had to have my hip done 3 years ago.
Thanks so much for talking to us. So you see, we're going to hear a lot of testimony about propofol and anesthesia and going under anesthesia during this trial. And he brings up some interesting points. Because a lot of people don't even think about this stuff when they have an operation. And he says maybe they ought to.
One actually interrupted.